So, what shall we talk about today? Should we talk about how I'm a Gemini? Or that I am part man, part machine?
That is right. I am like Darth Vader.
Nah man, we're here to talk about games.
Mash Mikey Gaming.
G'day all you mad gamers, I'm Mad Mikey, I come from the bloody land down under, and welcoming you all back after a long weekend. I hope you enjoyed your weekend, whatever you did, whether it be just playing games or celebrating Easter for what it's really about, or just, relaxing in time. I myself sat back and got in some Mass Effect time. I had a lot of good fun with that. It's actually coming really good. But if you don't know what today's show is about, Tuesdays is my gaming news opinions. Basically, it's a show where I'll talk about the news that's out there at the moment and what I actually think it is. So guys, the way you can help me, I know you got 2 thumbs, I only want 1, so don't forget to hit the like button, share, subscribe with everybody, and while you're at it, don't forget to tell your mother, tell your father, tell your brother, tell your sister, my cousin Nico. We all have one of him. And don't forget to tell all your friends about Mad Mikey Gaming, because they might like games. As you know, it's been a long weekend, so what does that mean? We had the Star Wars celebration over the weekend, and my God, what a time it is to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Just nothing but Star Wars and NBA playoffs all weekend. It was fantastic, and as I said, I did throw in a bit of Mass Effect in there, roughly at about 60 hours now. But there was a lot of news coming out of the Star Wars celebration. First and foremost, there was the trailer for Episode 8, and oh my God, mind blown. Tingles, shingles, everywhere. It was fantastic. There was not one thing I didn't love about that trailer, especially at the end where Luke is like, "It is the end of the Jedi." What does that mean? It could mean lots of things. It could just mean that the Jedi were always wrong, and that's why they failed all the time. That's why the Sith were always taking over. So don't forget, there's comment sections below. What did you think? What were your interpretations of Luke's doomy and gloomy outlook on the whole situation? But also there was some gaming news. So obviously Star Wars Battlefront 2 got its first trailer. There was a bit of a leak of it earlier in the week, but we got the full glorious trailer and a lot of details. Now, the details you're wondering, well, let's get to them. Now, for the first time, Battlefront 2, well, not really the first time, but it's going to have a single story campaign, and you're not going to be forced to buy DLC. Now, whether that means that you don't actually have to buy DLC, there's not going to be any DLC, or whether it just means that you can play the game and not worry about DLC, who knows? A lot of the news coming out is the fact that there's actually 3 developers working on this game. So the single player campaign is being developed by former Ubisoft Toronto head of Jade Raymond's Motive Studio. You guys who don't know who Jade Raymond is, she used to be the lead on the original Assassin's Creed game, and then she was the executive producer on the Assassin's Creed 2 games. Well, not all of them, but some of them. But obviously she ushered in the Ezio Auditore edition, which is one of the favorites of the Assassin's Creed games. She then moved on to work on Watch Dogs and did a few things before jumping ship over to EA. She's very talented. She's done a lot of things, so really excited to see about this story. And obviously, if you've missed the trailer, you'll notice that it's a female protagonist and it's taking part in between episode 6 and episode 7. So it's going to take part over a 30-year span. So hopefully there's a lot of twists and turns in the story, which should be really cool. And working on the multiplayer side of things, you're going to have DICE working on it. So they worked on the last one, so it's going to be interesting. It's really good that they're doing that. And along with DICE at the helm there, Criterion are actually going to be taking over the flying portion of things, which they have worked on in the past. So 3 developers, what can go wrong? A lot could go wrong, I suppose, but I don't think that they can stuff this up, especially after the backlash that they got from the original Battlefront game that just came out a couple of years ago. I'm loving the fact that they are putting in a single player here. It's going to give you a reason to go back into there. There are obviously pre-orders, so you do get a bit of a Jedi story, a couple of Jedi characters if you pre-order. So is that going to be a reason to pre-order? Why are the Jedi not in the bloody game? That just craps me to no end. Along with that, I mean, look, single player is going to be fantastic on this. I really hope that Jade does a really good job with her team and brings us a really compelling story. And I really think that if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be her. We've also got Amy Henning's division over at EA. She's one of the lead writers, the lead writer, I suppose, of the Uncharted series back in the day. So 1, 2, and 3. And they'll be mixing up something. There was nothing reported there over the weekend, but I'd say it could be a pretty in thing that it should show up at EA. They did show it on the highlight reel last year, so they've definitely got to be showing something else. And on to the next bit of news. Microsoft has announced that they're bringing out a standalone definitive edition of Halo Wars, the original one that was on the Xbox 360. It was part of a pre-order bonus for Halo Wars 2, in which you got it for free. If you pre-ordered, or it was part of some deluxe edition. This isn't really, I don't like the idea of this. I mean, when a thing's going to be sacred to the fact that if you did pre-order it and that was your thing, you should get it. You'd notice that they did do the same sort of thing with Call of Duty 4 remastered with the latest Call of Duty game. I just think that it's unfair to the guys that sort of forked out that extra money thinking that they were getting that exclusive game, for them to now sort of say, okay, well, anybody can buy the physical copy and we're going to make money off of it. Look, Halo Wars 2 didn't really hit a lot of marks for me. I thought there was something that I could really enjoy, but there was just a lot of other games out of the time like Mass Effect, Persona that's obviously recently come out, and there's just other games that are going to consume more of my time. I did really give it a bit of a go, but it just wasn't the game for me. I really want an RTS style game to work on consoles. I'd really love it if they worked out how to get StarCraft on there, because I'm a big StarCraft fan, and it's just... It just seems unfair to me, as someone who sort of went out and pre-ordered the game to get that extra bit of content, that they're going to be doing those sorts of things. But hey, at least people are going to enjoy it, people who haven't enjoyed it. I think this is really in reaction to the fact that the sales weren't that very good on the actual Halo Wars 2. So maybe they're trying to recoup their money by trying to hit that nostalgic value with a lot of people. I don't think it's the right thing to do. And in the second to last, it's sort of a joint production here for the last bit of news today. Sales reports have come out of the Nintendo Switch, and the Nintendo Switch has actually sold really well over in North America, but it's sold, where are we? 906 units in the United States last month alone, making it the fastest selling video game system in the company's long history. Combine that with 500,000 in Japan, and you've already got 1.5 million. That's not counting, as I said, Europe. For comparison, the Wii U sold 890,000 units in the United States during its first 6 months, which was actually during a holiday season. Nintendo have added that they have sold 1.3 million copies of Zelda Breath of the Wild in the US, which is really odd because that's more than they did units. But that's obviously including 925,000 on the Switch and 460,000 on the Wii U. I know myself, I bought the both of them, just knowing that Nintendo, and it would probably be hard to find the Wii U version of it down the track in terms of with collecting purposes. So I sort of went out and got it as soon as I could. So if you watch my shit on Probably Never Play, I went into that a bit more on the last episode. As soon as Nintendo giveth, Nintendo taketh. Other news is that Nintendo is discontinuing the Mini NES Classic. So last shipments are going out at the end of the month in America. No word on any other territories, whether they'll continue selling in Europe. I don't understand it. I mean, okay, there's a little bit of understanding, I suppose. On one hand, you can have the fact that so much demand for the amiibo characters, and when they weren't doing it, and then they sort of gave a big influx of it back into the retail. And now if you go to any sort of retail store, I don't know if I can't speak for other countries, but if you go around here in Australia, you'll actually see that there are quite a lot of amiibo figures just sitting there doing nothing now. And I think that might be sort of their reasoning behind why they want to discontinue the mini NES. There's obviously a huge demand still out there for it. So I think that they should really just sort of put it out in small portions like they have been. But at the same time, they may be like, okay, well, look, that's it. We probably haven't charged as much as what we should. Obviously, because as you can see on eBay and places like that, it is selling at quite a high price because people really want this for nostalgic value. I myself, I managed to get 2. I'm keeping one boxed and sort of modding around with the other one. And hopefully this means that down the track, they're going to continue with it, with bringing out a Super Nintendo one, a Nintendo 64 one. Obviously, emulation is very easy on those these days. Talked about it on the Gamer Nation podcast, which will be coming out tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Where we did sort of talk about it in a bit more in depth. So guys, don't forget, the link's down in the description how you can come and follow us over on the Gamer Nation podcast. We have a lot of fun on there. But that'll be it for today's news, guys. Don't forget, it's just my opinion, these things. Not sort of influenced by anyone. But guys, if you've got any comments or thoughts about any of my opinions, if you've got any opinions of your own, don't forget the comment section down below. I'll be back on Thursday for more gaming news opinions. Hopefully there's enough gaming news to go around. But that's it. As I said, my name's Mad Mikeey. I come from the land down under. And till I see you again, I will see you again. Bye, guys.